Well, hi guys, this is episode 2, and we picked up exactly where we left off episode 1. Again, I'll apologize. This time, the button to start a new recording is the same button that Civ uses to bring up the wonders of the world. So, with that annoyance in mind, I hope you enjoy this video. And it's not my, it is my turn. But nothing much is going on right now, so I'm going to pause and we'll pick it up in a few minutes. Okay guys, we're back. We are ready to put down another city. And I have a city here, a settler here that's going to be put down right here to grab this spice. Now, technically I could put them just a little bit down and pick up both of those spices. What I really want to do is be able to put another city down below him. And if I put him down below, then I'm going to crowd out that city. So I'm going to put that guy right there. Again, I lost my turn because I'm yakking so much. Okay, we're going to put him down right here. But of course, he's not going to be able to do that until we build a settler, a worker. But you notice the worker takes 5 turns, and this city is not going to grow for another 10 turns. So I want to use that 5 turns to just build a basic warrior in that city. And you can see, because the building that settler knocked this capital city's population down to 1, there's no point in trying to build another settler yet until he grows into population. So he's building spearmen right now. Luckily, one of the huts we stepped on, they taught us bronze working. Down here is our other city. It's beginning to grow nicely. It built its barracks. Now we're going to set it to work on a settler. These military units in there were given by the capital city. This little worker here is building a road down to him. And this guy is just kind of hanging out here. These guys are looking. And in a few minutes, we're going to send another settler farther up the map, and we'll talk a little bit about that when that happens. Alright guys, we're back, and Orleans has made a settler, but because there's so much food here with these cows, Orleans' population has not really been dropped appreciably. One of the villages we stepped on taught us horseback riding, so I'm going to put that city right there to pick up that horse. And I'm really happy with, let me send this spearman up to be a little bit of protection for that city once it's put in. Well, I can't. Once again, I lost my turn. Golly. But I'm really happy with how this land is shaping up. There's a piece of iron right there I got to pick up. Let's talk a little bit about placement of settlers. You know, right here where this worker is making all these mines is prime real estate. When I put a city here, probably where the spearman is standing, it's going to be a great city with high production. But I like to send cities far and wide. For example, up into these areas here where you got the floodplains, and up into here where you got the iron. So you have to balance the notion of the investment and time it's going to take for a settler to get that far versus the time a very close city, you know, it takes to grow and to flourish. In other words, a city that's close, it's going to be built very quickly, it's going to grow quickly, it's going to have high production. and the city that's far away is going to have low production, and it's going to take the settler a long time to get there. But once that settler is there, that settler can, or that city now, can begin to make additional settlers, and those cities, where those cities are, can kind of begin to grow little pods, little clusters of cities themselves. And over time, the areas between these clusters will fill in. So I try to balance that. I try to balance it by sending settlers far and wide and building cities close to take advantage of the low corruption and the high production that being very close to the capital city gives you. Actually, these guys are making the pyramids right now. For this game, I might have to give up the pyramids. Okay, there I got my worker. And we're going to build a road to those spices there to take advantage of that. In this game, workers are your lifeblood. Without workers, you get no roads, which means your units travel only a third as quickly. Without roads, you don't get trade, which means you don't get any money. Without workers, you don't get any irrigation or mining on any of your squares. So workers are one of those things that you cannot ignore creating. Okay, we're back, and Paris has just built a settler, and I could send this settler up here, which I would love to do, but I think instead what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this settler right there so that they can build a city close by, and I'm going to set this guy to work on the pyramids. Hopefully we haven't lost our chance that another civ has been diligently working on it, but we're going to try to get some cities closer to home and farther afield. And hopefully we're going to do that by missed my turn again. By building some workers that will build roads up to those far-flung areas, and things will go a little quicker. It won't take 27 turns for the settler to finally get where I want him to go. It'll only take 10 or 13 turns. So it's all a balancing act between trying to build close to home, trying to build far away, trying to build military units, trying to get money, try to develop your culture, try to keep the other civs from horning in on you. And it's a delicate balancing act. So we're going to put it on pause again, and we'll pick it up here in a couple of dozen more turns. Alright, fellas, we're back, and something mildly bad has happened. Suddenly, next to my capital city, a Mongol scout has appeared. This is bad. I've got some very sweet land in this area. The last thing I need is the Mongols finding it. They are just the worst to deal with in the game. Constantly PO'd at you. Always trying to pick a fight. The fact that the Mongols have found me is bad. Darn it. Darn it. There. That's what I want to do. How hard is that? Alright, so we have picked up some cities along the way here. This one I put here to pick up that ivory. This one to pick up this, I believe it's silk. And I'm trying to decide where to send this guy. Trying to decide where to send him. I think, I think I will send him down here on this fish to be able to begin to grow and flesh out some of that area here. The queen continues to scout around and try to find anything that's interesting, which she has found not a whole lot that's interesting. And so this is the end of my turn, and I will pause now, and we'll pick it up in just a little while. Alright guys, we're back. And what I feared was true. Just got to notice that the Mongols or the Japanese or somebody just built the pyramids, and look, I'm only 12 turns away, so the extra turns I took to get over here cost me. But we'll live with it. We are beginning to expand our area. We've got some cities coming in here. We got a couple of settlers. One's going to go down here and one's going to be there by the fish. We're beginning to expand out this way. We got our roads to our ivory, and now we're getting our road up to our horse up there. And then we're going to get a road down here to the silk. These guys are busily beavering away, making more settlers. So we should probably take our turn here. Go to here. We're going to put them there. And we're going to clear this forest. And we'll just have him go this way. We lost our turn. I talk way too much. I lose my turn. But that was quick. Alright, so let's zoom to the city and see what... yeah. Let's go for the temple versus the granary. We're beginning to get us a worker. He's going to be making a road up to this iron deposit up there. And so this guy here is continuing to investigate. I sure hope that the Mongols don't decide to start moving in here next door. I said before, I really don't like them. They are what they are, though, which is a pain in the keister. So hopefully this bopping in and out like this, pausing and unpausing as the game progresses, works out for you guys. I felt like that would be better to do than you know, watch all 2 hours of the gameplay. So with that in mind, we're going to pause yet again. Okay, folks, we're back. And let's review kind of what's going on. We've got several clusters of cities going. We've got this cluster. They are beginning to... these guys here are making settlers. No, you don't. You don't make a warrior. Making settlers. We've got a worker who's trying to tie them all together. So hopefully these cities will begin to sort of populate this chunk of land without any help from over here. We have our main cluster that's slowly beginning to grow. We're going to begin to get a cluster up here. I see my worker here is heading up, or my settler, sorry, is heading up toward this iron. And then we're going to want to get some cities up into here to protect this iron. We don't want this city here to be sort of like a border city. And then we're getting a fair number of cities. Over here, this guy, his main job is to just make a spearmen for this area down here. So while all these guys are busy making settlers, he is busy making spearmen for that area. That's this area over here. Begin to see that this little cluster here is beginning to make cities, and hopefully at some point we will begin to fill in the spaces between the clusters to make one big blob of cities. Some of these guys are making workers to begin to tie some of these cities together. Others are making just settlers. And a couple of the cities that have been really knocked down in population size have been set up to let's have him make one more spearman so his population can grow. Some of the cities whose populations have been decimated by my constant settler creation begin to make some spearmen and some other things to let their population sort of recover for a while. So, well, we are going to put a road on that cow. We're going to fortify Mr. Warrior here in that little city in the ice. And we're going to give up our turn. Now, unfortunately, you can see up at the scores, we're 129. And the lowest is 168. So we're still well behind. But I am hoping that if we're left alone, that we're not involved in a war, we can begin to fill in this area, begin to make some temples and libraries and all this good stuff, and our score is going to begin to balloon. Okay, so let's send this spearman up to that guy there. This spearman we'll keep him here. Let's put him here. No, let's keep him there because we'll plunk a city down there. Alright, well, now this area is dry, so what I'm trying to do is come over here to get some irrigation going. And we're going to bring that irrigation up to these cities here so we can begin to get some real growth. So, I'm going to pause while I do that. We'll be back shortly. Okay, guys, we're back, I think, for the last segment of episode 2. We're beginning to grow. And I've decided we're going to put the Forbidden Palace here, which is sort of centrally located here. Plus, it has 2 production. So that'll make it only take 100 turns, now 86. If I did it in an area that only had 1 production, it would take 200 turns to make that bad boy. So because he's going to be dedicated to that, and he's going to become an important city, I'm going to start filling him up with some spearmen and various things like that. We're beginning to get our irrigation up through here. No horsemen. We're going to keep you spearmen here. And I'm trying to decide, I think I will put this settler right about there to pick up that cow and this irrigation here. We're going to begin to irrigate up through here. And this guy will send his new spearmen down to where I just plunked that new city. Over here, our city is finally made by the iron deposits. You see our workers busily building a road up to it. I'm building a temple in it. He has like no production whatsoever, so I'm going to put a temple there so that he will have some culture. So in case anybody begins to fill in the area above him before I can, he at least has some culture so that that city won't be tempted to jump over to the other side. This is really the only source of iron that I can find on my area. Now maybe I'm blind, maybe I haven't done a good enough job looking around. There's some diamonds up here, but they're not very high on my priority list. So that piece of iron there is important. Without it, I can't make pikemen or swordsmen or anything really. I'm going to begin to fill in my area around my capital city to begin to protect it, to give it some buffer zone. This is kind of an ugly little city right here because it's just got mountains and everything. Doesn't really do a whole lot. This guy just made his granary, so I think I will have him make a cellar. With the granary, his population will bounce back fairly quickly. Finally brought my queen back home from her meanderings, her walkabout. And I'm going to send this guy down there. He'll be in the tundra, but at least he will have the food of these caribou or whatever they're called, game. So that's it. That's about 22 minutes for episode 2. It's bedtime. Tomorrow I gotta go to work, so we're gonna put this game on pause, and we're gonna pick it up tomorrow when I get home from work. So I hope you guys enjoyed episode 2. I'm hoping by the time episode 3 is done, a lot of these areas down in here will begin to fill up with some cities. And I hope to begin, especially since this is Forbidden Palace, I'm hoping I'm beginning to get some cities into this area. It would really stink to have my Forbidden Palace here and like the English just 10 or 15 squares to the left here. So hopefully by the end of episode 3 we'll be down into here. We'll begin to be getting up into here. This will begin to fill in more fully. This will fill in, and above my capital here I'll begin to fill this in and take advantage of this area here that will have almost no corruption. So anyway, hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to leave a comment if you like or dislike my gameplay, or you think I'm doing a boneheaded thing. I'm always looking for suggestions on things to do better. So I hope to hear from you. Take care.